Robert, you and Cheryl would like to join us on the stage, please. This is the first for us. It's a true privilege to participate in it. It's an honor to be able to show our respect to a fellow soldier and a true patriot who served his country with honor, courage, and heroism. Although he's well known by many of you here, it is my pleasure to recognize Mr. Marshall, and to present him with as many honors that if it were not for his grandson Kurt, he never even knew he would have earned. I'm told Mr. Marshall is a quiet, modest man who has never asked for any thanks for what he did for our country. And that's the true stuff that Patriot is made of. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce State Representative Robin Webb, the State Senator Charlie Bowles, who have a few words to say.
Thank you. Edgel, you want to come on up here and take the hot seat? I'm just honored to be part of this program today. Have a lot of love for this guy and his family. About 1974, the state made East Carter have a basketball program, and Vicki and Kevin coached that team, which I was starting forward throughout my high school career. And Edgel adopted us girls back then, and back then we could stuff Kurt in a ball bag and drag him around the country with us. That's a long time ago. We were a lot younger and stronger then, but he was just like a surrogate father to us on the road. And he and Red drove the bus, and we were a real team. Back then, girls basketball wasn't as, might not have been as good, but it wasn't quite as popular. And so Edgel sat through most of our practices and every game, no matter where it was, for my 4 years anyway. And went on to always encourage me. And then when I went on to public office and always supported me and been there. He's always got an opinion, and we value and appreciate that. But it's good to see Kurt and the rest of the family today. And I just want to say I love him. I know you all do. And I'll just hand it over to Charlie. He goes back a little longer than I do.
Well, thank you all very much. And I know you're like me. You wouldn't miss today for anything. And you know, each of us, I've always said that each of us are an accumulation of life's experiences. Anything good or bad oftentimes goes back to our upbringing. And I can't tell you how blessed it is to have grown up in Carter County. But more than that, going back to Edgel and Jean Marshall. And of course, Vicki was in the same class, and Kevin with my wife, Carol. And having neighbors like Red, Ralph, and those folks up there. But what you wouldn't know is what clubs are today to young teen groups and so forth. Edgel's and Jean's home was always a welcome center. And we knew we were always welcome there. And like some people, I guess in high school I had some problems. My major problem was between my sophomore and junior year, I grew 6 inches in 3 months. Now I couldn't walk and chew chewing gum at the same time, obviously. But the good thing about that is Edgel never did tell me that. Red never did tell me that. Vicki and Kevin, those folks never did tell us that, because we were there for each other. And then having the opportunity to get elected to the state senate in 1990. And I wear this red, white, and blue today. This is not a flag, folks. This is just a garment. but it has the Statue of Liberty. And I wear this because of people like Edgel Marshall and people like you in this room. Because of the fact that you have gone and given times from your families, many left their lives and their limbs on the battlefield that we might be free. And when I got to the state senate, I knew what it was not to have any running water for many of our areas. Knew what it was, the lack of jobs, but I knew what it was for people who served our country in the name of freedom. And I learned there that since 1963 that our state had not honored November 11th as a holiday. So in 1996, I introduced a bill that would make November 11th a holiday. It went through the committee, and I'll try to be very brief with this. And then after it made it through the committee, I went to the floor leader and said, Mr. Floor Leader, when's my bill going to be voted on to make Veterans Day a holiday? He said, Charlie, it's not. There's some state employees that don't like having to give up January 2nd, so it won't be. And it wasn't. In 19, you call the troops back home, whether it be if you're doing something for education, you call teachers. If you're doing something for our veterans, you call the veterans. But I never mentioned to one veteran that I filed the bill, didn't ask for one veteran to come to Frankfurt, for I recognize that people like Edgel, they fought the battles, and he never talked about this as we were youngsters. He did what his country asked him to do, like so many of you have done. And I recall it was closing in on the second session 2 years later, and it looked like, although I got the bill through the Senate, that the House was not going to call it for a vote. Politics was being played. And I was told that the governor was opposed to this bill. It was in the last couple of days. So I walked down from the House to the Senate with my head hung low and tears pouring in my face and saying, God, I've done all I can do to get this legislation through. And for you, you may be familiar with those spiritual says that when Christ was on the cross, he could have called 10,000 angels, but he chose not to. Now, I'm not comparing anything we're doing in Frankfurt with Jesus Christ. We could have called 10,000 soldiers, but we chose not to. For one, to fight that battle on their behalf, and as I went down that hallway from the House to the Senate, I was praying, God, I've done everything I know how to do. For 2 years, I've worked on this bill. Then I got to thinking, wait a minute, they say the governor doesn't like the bill. So I trotted down to the governor's office and met with the governor. He said, excuse me for a minute. He went out, came back in, and said, I have no problem with your bill. I said, would you mind calling the floor leader? So in 1998, we got that piece of legislation passed, and it's now law, and this will be the 5th year that November 11th will be a state holiday in addition to federal holiday. But I say all that to say this. Had it not been for growing up around people like Edgel, had an opportunity to work with in the brickyard, and the people in Hitchens community, working with people when I was at Carter Caves from Olive Field and Braun and Soldier and all over, and recognizing the kind of people who have served our nation to make it what it is. So today, I just can't tell you what a privilege it is for me to be here, not only to express my appreciation for these awards and presentations that are long overdue for Edgel, but to express my appreciation to him for serving our country, and as a young person, for being there, him and his family, for us. That, Robin, we might have the courage, you talked about he encouraged, that we might, from Hitchens and Grayson, that we might grow up and have the courage to put our name on the ballot for representative and senator, because people like Vicki and Kevin and Edgel and Red and all these folks encouraged us and made us believe that we were just as good as anybody. And so not only do I applaud Edgel for that today, but I applaud him for his service to his country. And Edgel, God bless you, brother. We appreciate it.
I'm going to embarrass him a little bit here because I'm going to tell a little bit about his history. He entered into the active service September 15, 1942. His date of entry into combat was D-Day +1 at Normandy, June 7, 1944. Of the 337 days that he spent exposed to combat, he was exposed to the enemy, in contact with the enemy, for 327 of them. He was with the 2nd Infantry Division, 9th Infantry Regiment, 2nd Battalion, Echo Company. He participated in 5 campaigns going through France, Belgium, Czechoslovakia, and Germany. Now we get to where, I guess the best way to put it is, now we get to the part where he finally gets what he deserved since the day he put on the uniform. First of all, we have here in this stack, I'm not going to give them all, go through all of this, but he has the Certificate of Merit by displaying conspicuous gallantry in an attack on Halberstadt, Germany. He repeatedly exposed himself to heavy enemy fire to carry messages between his platoon and the company command post. It was signed by Colonel P.G. I pronounce it Ginder or Ginder? Ginder? 9th Infantry Commander. First of all, I'd like to present Good Conduct Medal. Keeping that in mind, you didn't know you had these coming, did you? American Campaign Medal. European, African, Middle East Campaign Medal with Silver Star. World War II Victory Medal. Combat Infantry Badge. Honorable Service Label, lapel label, sorry, for World War II. Last, but obviously not least, one of the highest honors the soldier can get, the Bronze Star. You want to say anything? I don't think so. Thank you for attending, ladies and gentlemen. This has been an honor for us, and I hope you enjoyed what you had to see here today. It's a special man. God bless.